Sunday musings. Cheers. I've got a gin and tonic. The sun was out this morning, then it was rainy, and then the sun came out, and then it's rainy, and it's still raining out there. It's a funny old weather we're having at the moment, isn't it? So, Sunday musings. What am I going to talk about this week? Well, I am going to talk about snowflakes this week, and I'm not talking about the kind of snowflakes that fall on the floor in winter. I'm talking about the kind of snowflakes that us Gen X parents have produced. Because when I've been posting this week my little short videos, somebody commented that it is our fault that the snowflakes exist. It is the Gen X generation. Generation X. So what's that? 60s, 70s, 80s. Our fault. It's our fault. And that got me thinking, why is this our fault? And I know why it's our fault, because we didn't have it tough. We didn't have it tough in the 80s, but we had to get on with it. We just had to get on with it, didn't we? For example, I'm sure you can think of lots of examples as well. So let me just have a quick swig before I carry on. Hendrix, beaver tree, mint from the garden, and cucumber from the neighbour. Delicious. Loads of ice as well. Yeah, so let me just think a little bit about why did we produce snowflakes? Because we didn't want our children to suffer like we did. We didn't suffer. No, we didn't suffer, but we were real, weren't we? Us Gen X's were real. We had a proper upbringing. I had to walk home from school. I know that it's not always safe to do that now, so I understand it. But there are other things, not just walking home from school or walking to brownies or scouts or anything else that we used to do when we were younger. Yes, it was a safer time. Well, maybe it wasn't, I don't know, but we were oblivious to it, weren't we? Our back door was always open, and where we lived was always open. The back door was always open. Now, would you leave it? No, actually, front door. Back and front door. They were both open. Would you do that? Would you leave your front and back door open now? No, of course not. But things like a Saturday job. I had a Saturday job washing up in a cafe, and my best friend, we both worked together. We were at the back pot washing, cleaning, and then after our little shift in the morning, on Saturday morning, we get on the bus, go into town and spend our money in Chelsea Girl. Do you remember that shop? If you're a girl, you'll remember that shop. I don't know, maybe you're a boy, you'll remember it as well. Chelsea Girl. And we go and spend all our money on... Whoops, just spilt my drink. I'm not pissed yet. And we'd go and spend our money in Chelsea Girl. But we had a Saturday job. My kids, they've not had Saturday jobs. They've had pocket money. I've given them pocket money. I've driven them everywhere. I drive them everywhere. They've got phones. I wasn't allowed to use I was allowed to use the phone. Okay, it wasn't a mobile phone, but I remember my dad saying, "Get off the phone! Get off the phone! You've been on the phone too long." But kids today don't have that, do they? They're just always on the phone, willy-nilly, whenever they want to be on the phone. So I was never allowed to use the phone. So kids were given phones and off they went. They just used the phone. What else is snowflakey? Well, as a teacher, and I guess as well, this is a big reason why I left teaching as well, because I believe, in my opinion, that we are breeding snowflakes at school. And I'll give you a story. I'll give you a little story. I was on duty in the playground at school, and I had a year 1 class, so it was the pre-prep, so that is primary school age, nursery, reception, year 1 and year 2, early years. And we had a little track that went round and round with bicycles on it, and there was a lady, particular lady there that worked there. I don't think she liked me either, but she was so nosy, pokey, and into everybody's business. And I guess you've always got somebody like that at work. And I was out on duty, and I'll call him CB. CB fell off his bike, and he is what, 5, 6? And CB is quite rough and tumble anyway, and he was in my class, so I knew the child, I knew what it was like. And he was like, fell off his bike, and I went, right, get back on your bike, you're fine. Go on, off you go, you're fine. Just give it a little rub. Just give it a little rub on your head and on your knee, you're absolutely fine. So I was the adult in charge, and I could see that he was absolutely fine. And off he went. Anyway, this particular member of staff, I'll call her X, came to see me in the staff room during a break, lunch break, and she said to me, why didn't you take him to the reception and phone home? I saw you out the window, I was watching you, and he fell off his bike. You should have taken him to reception, given him a head bump ice pack. You should have phoned home and written it in the accident book and written it in his diary. And I said, look, I was the adult on duty, I was a teacher on duty, and I didn't deem that was necessary. So that was my watch, basically, not your watch, my watch. And that's just an example of breeding snowflakes at school. He didn't need any sort of help apart from a little pat on the head, off you go, you're fine. There was no blood, there was no trauma, he was absolutely fine. And that's just snowflakes. That is what schools are doing. Schools are breeding snowflakes. Kids are wrapped in cotton wool for the fear of being sued. That's what I think, for the fear of being sued. And didn't align with me. It's the same when they came up to the gym and I had them gym, you'd have the teacher assistants doing all their shoelaces for them. And I'd be like, no, stop. They need to learn how to do that. You should stop doing it for them. Oh, well, they can't. They need to. Yes, they can. They can. Let them try. Take the shoes off, put their shoes on. And if the shoes are on the wrong foot or back to front or the shoelace isn't quite done up, it doesn't matter. They need to learn. They need to learn. Oh, snowflakes. But then that's our fault. So going back to Generation X, it's our fault with our children. We want to give them everything that we didn't have. And at school, they're just wrapped in cotton wool. So we're breeding them at school, not only at home, but at school too. But what I want to know, is it a Gen X thing? Is it a Gen X parent thing? Is it because we've made them like that? It's our fault? We shouldn't have done that. I mean, my kids, they're a little bit flaky, I must admit, but I have made them go out and get a job. So my daughter, my youngest, is out at the moment on her weekend job working. So I have said, you need to get a little part-time job. I do ferry her about a lot. They have pocket money and they both have their phones paid for. My parents would never do that for me. They would never pay for my phone if I had a mobile phone. But we do things for our children now because we want to give them what we didn't have. And that's normal, I guess, for a lot of us, I think, but we are breeding snowflakes. And it just got me thinking that would be a good Sunday musing, because is it Gen X's fault that we've got snowflakes? Or is it just generally society today? Let me know. Is it our fault or is it just society in general? Anyway, I'm going to clean up this mess that I've dropped on the floor here, and I'm going to say cheers, happy Sunday musings, and I will see you again soon.